Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2017 Volkswagen Golf Alltrack. Up front is a 1.8 liter turbocharged inline 4 and down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now I'm super excited to be driving this Alltrack for two reasons. First of all, I've never driven one. This was a special off-roady version of the Golf, and that's really exciting. But the second reason is the fact that today it is snowing, our first big snowstorm of 2024, and so I think it might be the perfect situation to test out the Alltrack. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. Let's get back to that 1.8 liter turbo inline 4. Well, that is where the Alltrack-ness really starts. There was a Golf wagon, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but that was optioned with a 1.8 or a 1.4. The Alltrack only came with the larger, more powerful 1.8 liter, which is a very nice addition. Now, Volkswagen has used this engine in one form or another for a very long time, so it's a pretty well thought through engine, and since the owner Jake has had this since 2021, he hasn't had any major engine issues besides a battery going dead, which they all do. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed automatic. This is known as the DSG. It is a dual clutch automatic, and I really enjoy it. I think Volkswagen does a very good job with their DSGs. Some of the best transmissions you can find in a car under $50,000 really. So very nice to see that. Last but not least, the big calling card of the Alltrack is the fact that it has the 4Motion all-wheel drive. So you could get a Golf wagon, but they weren't all-wheel drive. The only other way to get all-wheel drive would be the Golf R, which was the performance Golf. So this is pretty sweet, and on a day like today, I am most certainly glad that I have all-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive a Golf Alltrack? Well, the first thing I noticed right off the bat before I even started driving was the steering. The steering is incredibly light. One finger movements, you can do the whole pie, which is very nice to see. And even in parking lots, it's almost like a 70s car where it's over boosted and just easy as butter turning around. Other than that, the driving dynamics are pretty much the same as a regular Golf. You do sit higher. The Alltrack does get beefier lifted suspension for more ground clearance, and you do notice that over certain bumps, but it doesn't change the way it drives too dramatically. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 gauges and a screen. Off to the left is my tachometer and coolant temperature, and off to the right is my speedometer and fuel. We do have a little information screen in the center that you could scroll through a couple things. And moving onto the steering wheel, we do have our cruise control off to the left as well as the volume. And off to the right, we have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen as well as voice commands and skip track. The overall steering wheel looks and feels nice. I apologize for the flurries in this video, but I think it's pretty well done and it feels good in my hands. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, headlight and fog light switch, and our gauge dimmer switch. Moving onto the door, we have our power mirrors and power locks up top and power windows down below. Moving into the center, we have 2 climate control vents and a hazard switch. And then our touchscreen radio. So this does have Apple CarPlay from the factory, wired of course for 2017. And it does have a backup camera. Here's what the backup camera looks like. Overall, I think it's a really nice display, especially for the age. You know, this car is 7 years old, which is insane to think about that 2017 was that long ago, and that I've been reviewing cars since before then. But I think the amenities in here have aged really well, which is nice to see. Down below, we do have climate controls. No dual zone, which I would have liked to have seen, but that's okay. But we do have heated seats, which I am pleasantly enjoying on this flurry Wisconsin morning. Down below, we do have a little openable cubby. I love that it says Alltrack on the outside, but of course, we do have our plugins down here for the aux and USB. Then we have the shifter itself. It says DSG up at the top. Pretty run-of-the-mill Volkswagen shifter that they use in this era. You'll see this in many, if not all of their products. And I don't mind it. I think it looks nice and it functions well. Off to the left, we do have our drive mode select. So we do have a couple different drive modes we can go through, along with a custom mode to create your own drive mode. I love the fact that this gets an off-road mode because they did put a little extra off-road goodies to it. It's nice that they give you that option. Then we do have the traction control off button below that, and we move on to the cup holders. So we will do a big freaking bottle test, and unfortunately the Alltrack fails. I didn't really expect it to pass. However, if you go back to 2013, the Audi Allroad does pass. So if you want an all-wheel drive Volkswagen product from the 2010s that'll fit a big friggin' bottle, the Allroad is here, but the Golf Alltrack is not. Then we do have a physical parking brake. Absolutely love that this car gets a physical parking brake and a center armrest. Now, the seats are decently comfortable. Like I said, they are heated, and the driver's seat is half power, so it's power reclining, but if you want to move it up and down, that's manual. And they're fine. I've always had a very passive interest in Volkswagen seats. I think they do the job, and nothing much more than that. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2017 Volkswagen Golf Alltrack, and a couple of things to note. First of all, it's not terrible back here. The seats are a little bit hard, most definitely harder than the front seats, but besides that, headroom is good. That's why I love wagons. I love wagons. Headroom, great. Knee room is actually pretty good, and I did move the seat back a little bit than Jake's normal driving position, and my knees are barely grazing, I should say, the back of the seat. 2 climate vents back here. You don't often see that in a vehicle this size. Mazda doesn't do it, so very nice to see the climate vents back here. And overall, pretty nice. We do have a little center console. Pull this down, 2 cup holders in there. Really nice to see that in the back of the Golf Alltrack. You're going to be able to fit your friends, family, and pets back here without too much worry. Let's hop into the very back. We'll talk about the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Alltrack, and it is snowing. That's beautiful for the Alltrack. So something I love about Volkswagens is where they put the rear tailgate release. It's in here. Lift it up like that, and there we go. We do get a really nice privacy cover. We also get buttons here to put down the second row. 12-volt outlet down here in the corner. Other button for the other seat. Pull this out. Bada bing, bada boom. Really love to see that. Look at how nice and shielded that is. There you go. And tons of space. You know, people say, oh, I want an SUV for the space. It's right here. You don't need an SUV for the space. You just need a nice, good old-fashioned wagon. And the Alltrack most certainly delivers that. Love to see that in the back of the Golf Alltrack. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and you do get bigger fender flares for the Alltrack. You notice that raised suspension, and this car is on all-season tires, which changes the look ever so slightly, but I always get questions about that. Overall, I think it looks really good, and I was telling the owner right before we did this shoot, I think the Mark 7 Golf has aged extremely gracefully. This will remain my favorite generation of Golf for a while, and the wagon version just looks so much better in my opinion. Looks a little bit more proportional, looks like it's ready for any job you throw at it, and the Alltrack most certainly is. But with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving an Alltrack? Well, to be honest, there aren't many downsides. Volkswagen reliability scares me a little bit. However, the owner says that besides that battery, it's been reliable in the mileage that he's done in it. He took it across the country and had a weird oil light come on every so often, but then it just went away and never came back. It wasn't an actual issue. So besides that, this is kind of the perfect car. It's very spacious for cargo. It's easy to drive. It's not a giant SUV. It's turbocharged. It's comfy. The tech still holds up. I have my Apple CarPlay and I don't really care about anything else. So why didn't this car sell all that well? Because on paper, every man, woman, and child in the United States should be driving one of these. Well, I think there's a few factors. First of all, I think people are scared of Volkswagen reliability, at least in the modern era. Gone are the days of the 70s Beetle, where they didn't even have a radiator you had to service. But that doesn't tell the whole story. People buy unreliable cars all the time. That's why Jaguar is still in business. I think this was marketed to such a niche group of people that it kind of destroyed itself. You see, as car enthusiasts, we always forget that the general population doesn't really care that much about cars. They are a fix to a problem. And so when a company builds a car like this that is so great for enthusiasts, a little bit of off-road capability, a little bit of sportiness, a little bit of comfort, all wrapped up into one single ball, it doesn't gather that much attention. It's like your favorite diner that goes out of business. You loved it. They used to mix the milkshakes just right. Their specials were a bargain, and it was close to your work. I mean, how could a place like that fail? It was the perfect little mom and pop diner. But then you start to realize that not everyone works where you do. It's not close to everyone. Not everyone likes their milkshakes twisted that way. Not a lot of people go in during the deals. And so the diner closes its doors, and something perfect is lost. That's the story here with the Golf Alltrack. Here in the United States right now in 2024, this is being filmed in January of 2024, the only way you can get a Golf brand new is either as the GTI performance version or the Golf R, which is the super performance version. That's it. You can't even buy a regular Golf. The only way to get all-wheel drive is going up to the Golf R, which puts you into the 40s, almost $50,000 range. And granted, the Mark 8 Golf R is a good car. I like it too. But this just seems more wholesome. This isn't trying to break your neck. This car isn't trying to be anything it's not. This is the kind of car that wears Kirkland brand zip-ups on a hike. This car didn't buy into the Patagonia propaganda. This car is true. It's honest. It doesn't fib. And we need more of that. But unfortunately, people don't buy that. People want big SUVs because they think that they're safer. They think that there's more space. But this compared to a Volkswagen Taos, this is better in every way. So I guess it really resorts to the saying of only the good die young. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Jake for letting me take out his Golf Alltrack. I was so excited to drive one of these, and it just happened to be snowing today. What a great turnout and great way to show off this vehicle's capabilities. Jake has been wonderful to work with, super friendly, super fun to chat with, and I hope that we do it again soon. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.